Hello everybody and welcome to Living Your Kick-Ass Life. I am so excited about today's interview because I think you're really going to feel moved by what you hear from our guest today. So, on Living Your Kick-Ass Life, I interview people about the steps they've taken to do just that, live their kick-ass life. And today, I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and the owner of Empowerment Coaching, clinical psychologist with almost 30 years experience. Hi, Marlo. And today I'm going to be interviewing Marian McCormick, who is the Fit Dietitian. And I had a wonderful phone conversation with her the other day, prepping for this interview, and I really am excited about the opportunity to interview her. So we're going to wait a minute here and let's see. Oh, Marlo popped in with a hello, but I'm waiting for Marian to join us so that we can add her to the call. We went through an amazing array of techie issues with getting set up for this call. Like I've said before, and I'll say again, I always reference who's on the call. Up, Jerry's here. Hi, Jerry. So that we check their phone to make sure that it's actually going to work. Well, with her phone, we shifted from her phone to her husband's phone. Then we had to upload all kinds of upgrades that he had never bothered to upload. And then we ended up doing a ton of turning it off, turning it on, all that happy stuff, do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around, because it took a chunk of time to get the phone to the point where it was actually going to cooperate with us and allow us to do the interview. So, and then when we did our trailer for this interview, Marian started off outside, and because the sun was so bright, it made her look really, the image was very dark, so it was very hard to see her. So then she wandered back into her house, and her boys were home. She and her husband have 4 little boys, so it's quite a boisterous little house there. So we had an interesting conversation around getting set up for this interview. So I'm hoping that pretty quick here we will see her on the interview. And actually I'm going to pop into my notifications and see if I can connect with her. Let's see, let's do inbox instead. And this is one of there we go. All right. So I'm just going to send her that I'm on live, and can you find the feed? It's a good thing I've had typing skills for a long time, right? So we'll see. We're just gonna bide some time and wait until she can join us on the interview. So one of the things that I love about Marian is that she is a very tender-hearted person. You can tell that she cares deeply about what she's doing and how she's doing that. And I saw a third person there momentarily, and then they disappeared. So we'll give it a minute and we'll try again. Because I think right now I just have Marlo and Jerry. Yep. So we'll wait for a minute. And I always laugh when I see the little thumbnails with the camera in the corner, because literally that means I could tap on that camera and invite them to join me live, which I'm sure would make both of them run screaming into the night. But we'll wait for a minute here and see if Marian joins us. The other day, like I said, the other day we went around and around on this. Anyway, so Marian is a person who's very from the heart, very from the heart. And that's something that I greatly value in people and greatly value in someone that I'm going to pick to work with. I don't care whether it's a dentist or a physician, or in this case it would be a registered dietitian. I want that person to be coming from heart and soul, not focused on, here's your appointment time, get them in, get them out, zoom, zoom. Yeah. So Marian's the kind of person that I think makes her clients feel very warm and welcomed, and like they can do this, and that she has their back and she will support them through whatever is going on with them. I had asked her, she said, I'm here, but it's not giving me an opportunity to add on. Okay. And I'm not seeing you as here, so if you can take it, if you can back out of it and then come back in, see if you can see it again. Like maybe close out of Facebook and then go back in. We'll get it to accept. Because you were there, I think you were there briefly. I saw the three, that there were 3 people on the call. So I'm thinking it's going to work. We just have to bring you back in. And once it turns to 3 again, I'll connect with you. So, honestly, phones. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, working with Marian. She likes doing a lot of very short little videos from her home, showing what people can do to get into better health, just using what they have around the house. She has this wonderful picture on her website of her with her 4 boys on her back as she's doing a plank. And then her statement underneath is she wonders if she could do that now, given that they are 3, 5, 7, and 9, and they were much younger at that point. But I think it'd be worth a try. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see if she could manage all 4 of them. She's pretty buff. I think she could probably do it. So let's see what we get here. Trying my page again. We'll see what we get here. I seem to be one of those people where the beginnings of my videos end up running long as I try to add people. But well worth the wait. Well worth the wait. I had also asked Marian if she had a quote-unquote before picture that she could share with everybody. And what she said is, I'm going to read it off my screen. I wish I could say I had an amazing before picture, but when you are at your worst, you don't take pictures. The closest thing I have is a picture with my 2 boys on my Facebook page from 2009. So obviously that's been a while ago, and she has 2 more boys since then. But she's right. How many of us have avoided the camera or hide behind the crowd so you're the head that's sticking way back here because you don't want people to see you? I think the body image stuff is a huge issue for a lot of people at this point in time. And so, again, that's one of the reasons why I think this interview is going to be so awesome. So, let's see. Oh, there's Diane. Hi, Diane. And we're just going to wait a minute here. There's Jerry. Hey, Jerry. And now she says, I did that, and now I can't see the live feed. All right, so... All right, so we're going to have her keep looking for it on the Dr. Bonnie page. Because I hate to shut down and come back because then you guys have to hunt me up again too. So, but I do think her story is an amazing story. And if I could figure out, it would be awesome too if I could figure out how to clip these videos so that the long lead-ins don't necessarily have to be there anymore. That would be great. One of the other things that I am considering doing is doing them through Zoom and then streaming them into Facebook, because I think that would help prevent some of these issues that seem to occur. I don't seem to have the same difficulty getting people into a Zoom call as I do onto Facebook. So we'll give it a minute yet and see. All right, so I'm going to tell her, take another whack at it, and if it doesn't work, we'll stop and start again. Which I hate to do because we had such good stuff that I was telling you about her, and I hate to lose all that. So, and of course, the other thing about this is whenever someone sends an email, it drops in on the top of this screen, right over the top of me. There we've got Marian. All right. Wonderful. All right, so we are inviting Marian onto the show, and we'll see how this goes. All right, so it says inviting, so then if you just tip your phone, there we go.
Hi.
Got it. Hello, dear.
Technology
How
is
are
our
you?
friend.
Yeah, all day has been like that again. So it just is the nature of the beast. So I'm glad you hung in there with us.
Yes,
So
thank you for being patient.
not a problem, not a problem. So I've been telling our listeners a little bit about you, that you and Abe have four little boys, and
Yeah,
so it's a busy household.
it
So,
is.
and I also told them that you are the Fit Dietitian, and so I'm just going to have you start by telling us a little bit about you. Just give us some background on what your kind of your pre-kick-ass life.
So personally or professionally,
My guess is they kind of weave together.
that is very true.
Yep, give us
So
some
in my
both.
early teens, I started and I struggling with depression in my early teens. Went into my college years with still struggling with depression. I even had like a separate file folder for research on depression because I was just kind
Wow.
of stuck there. And so I did a ton of research. I tried a ton of medications. I tried St. John's wort. I tried counselor after counselor. Just nothing was really working for me. So I grew up with about a decade of depression. And I had an eating disorder. So the two kind of went hand in hand. I fell into the fad diet of the 90s, the low fat diet craze. If you remember, everything was fat free back then. And I was a teenager. I was depressed. I thought losing weight would make me feel better. And so I was like, fat free brownies, let's do this. So um, yeah, so I fell into that, and like you said, that led into my profession. So that's why I became a registered dietitian, literally, because I went into the doctor's office and they're like, if you continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to be able to have children. And that was kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, I know. So that
How did
was
you feel
how
when
I
they
became a
told you that?
dietitian.
Yeah, how did
What?
you feel when they told you that? I mean, that's a pretty
That was the
big blow.
that was the turning point for me. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I want to have kids, and I can't believe I'm in this position where I might not have children. So yeah, we need fat in our diet. So I'm glad we've stepped away from the low fat diet craze. So I consider myself a full fat dietitian.
Wonderful. But I do think there are a lot of people who are still trapped in that hamster wheel of I'm going to try this thing and that's not working. I'm going to try this thing and that's not working. And they're getting more and more desperate and more discouraged. I mean, I can't tell you the number of people as a clinical psychologist who came to me to get that pre-surgical screening for lap band surgery or whatever. They were desperate.
Yes, yes. And I've worked with that population before as well. And man, like you said, it's a hamster wheel. There's so many fads out there. There's so much information. The World Wide Web is an amazing resource, but it can also pull you in so many crazy directions. Everything you read on the internet's correct, right? So it can really spiral you downward in the wrong direction. So, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you began to turn that ship around and begin to reclaim your life and yourself.
So that's good. We all have kind of a turning point where we make changes in our life. And mine was 2009. I tell this story to all my clients. 2009, I was at the heaviest I'd ever been. I was still struggling with some depression related concerns. I had overcome my eating disordered habits, but I was at the heaviest weight I'd ever been at. And I had just had my second baby, and it was Christmas. And of course, when you're at your lowest point, you weigh yourself, right? Because that's a brilliant idea, just to weigh yourself.
Fabulous. Yep.
It was a fabulous plan. But so I weighed myself at like my lowest point, and my dad goes, "Oh, you weigh as much as I do." And I was like, wow. Like, I had been a dietitian for years, and it was really that was my turning point, was like, Marian, you've got to stop. Like, this is your time to change. You know what you need to do. You know what self-care is. You know all about nutrition. You know all about what you need to do to move forward. And it wasn't just about weight loss. It was also about, wellness and feeling good and feeling healthy. And I wasn't at that point.
Right, right. So you've made the decision in your mind at that point. You're ready for things to be different. What was most important to you? What did you need the most in order to actually keep things moving forward?
What did I need the most? That's a good question. It was all internal. It really was all internal. It was really, really the desire to change. That's really what it was. And you make a very good point is I always say to my clients, there's no diet, no plan that can ever make up for your desire to change. That's really what it is all about. I've seen so many people follow so many diets and find success and then gain the weight back, unfortunately, because they weren't completely ready to change, or it wasn't something they could make into a lifestyle. So you make a very good point is this really is about change. It was such a small part of my training, the stages of change, but it was the essential piece for me, and it is for my clients as well. Like, if you're not ready, I can't help you, unfortunately, and that's the way it is. And honestly, that's what also transitioned me into doing my own business, because I had worked in the hospital for 10 years, and I had seen clients or patients, now I have clients, they were patients, come back over and over and over and over because they weren't making changes. We beat the low sodium, low sugar, carbohydrate counting meal plans, and they weren't ready to change. And so I'd see these clients and it would burn me out because I couldn't be of service to them. I couldn't change their behavior. That was within them. So
some of the things that I see with people is they frame it as, I'm going to do this. It's a diet. I'm going to do this for a period of time, and then I can go back to my old ways and I'll be fine. And then you get the yo-yo, because it does need to be a lifestyle change. And the other aspect that I see that I think is so important and we don't give enough attention to is how much support someone needs in making these changes, because there's a huge emotional and spiritual component to this that often doesn't get addressed.
Absolutely.
So talk
yes,
a little
exactly.
about how, so how do you help people with that? The support that they need and
So absolutely, I love that. So when I separated from, being in the hospital and went into private practice, I realized that people needed that accountability piece. For myself, I joined a group of wellness moms who were pregnant or who were postpartum, who were really interested in taking good care of themselves. So I found accountability for myself. And so when I created my programs, I designed them exactly how I lost the weight. So it includes accountability, it includes a support group, it includes motivation, it includes nutrition, it includes real world stuff like, guys, I'm exhausted and I'm still doing it because I know it's important. So that support. And also I do a spiritual piece to my wellness group. I'm a very spiritual person. In fact, I have to say that spirituality is how I overcame depression. That in the self-care program, but really spirituality was really what helped me overcome depression after over a decade, of not getting through it. It was really finding purpose for me that really helped me overcome depression.
Right. Well, and one of the things that I've come to believe and see manifested often is the amount of extra weight we carry is oftentimes commensurate to the path that we're meant to be following that we haven't followed. If we have a big mission in life and we haven't listened to that guidance to follow that mission, oftentimes we carry a ton of extra weight. There's even a book by Doreen Virtue called Losing Your Pounds of Pain. And so she was recognizing and realizing that oftentimes our bodies end up manifesting whatever we're not addressing in our lives.
Yes, I love that because, at my turning point, that's what I recognized is we had just gone through a really tough time. We got hit really hard by the economy the year before I decided that's enough, Marian, you're going to change now. We got hit really hard by the economy and we lived through really awful stress, like really tough. And I fueled my body how I felt good, it felt good to eat too many carbs. It felt good to eat sugar. It felt temporarily relieving. And that is science-based, it very much is science-based. So
yes,
I totally understand that you can definitely live in an unhealthy mindset when you're going through tough times.
Absolutely. Well, and I think for many, many people, 2008 was devastating. And if we looked, I imagine you are not the Lone Ranger in terms of having attempted to cope with all the financial losses, the job losses, etc., by using food. So can you talk a little bit about that connection? Because I don't think a whole lot of people know why they eat the sugar, why they crave the sugar. What is the sugar literally doing for them and to them?
So I want to talk a little bit about food sensitivities in that regard. So, a lot of people say that you crave things that you're missing in your diet. And actually, sometimes you crave things that you're sensitive to. So what your body is trying to do is kind of find this equilibrium, this balance. So for me, I'm highly reactive to sugar, cane sugar. And so I crave it like crazy. Any kind of stressful situation, a fluctuation in hormones, I'm going to go for the sugar. And that is one of my highest reactive substances when I'm looking at my own food sensitivity tests. So it could absolutely be that you are sensitive to that and your body is trying to maintain some kind of equilibrium. We do see a shift in those neurotransmitters like serotonin when you're consuming those poor quality carbohydrates. So there's science behind us feeling better temporarily when we consume those things.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes it difficult to change the behavior because it works, quote unquote.
Yes, temporarily. Yeah. It does. Temporarily it does. Absolutely. I think we can all attest to that.
At a big cost. Right, at a big cost.
Yes. It's kind of like that hamster wheel you were talking about. It's like a downward spiral and a vicious cycle. It's hard to break sometimes.
Yep. So you were talking about this food sensitivity testing. Is that something that you do for people?
It is. So my son was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. And so ever since that, I've been really into how does food make you sick? Because, there's that connection between gluten and dairy-free with autism. And that was something that I didn't learn in school. I learned all about celiac disease, but not how foods can affect behaviors. So ever since then, my son is almost 10 now, I've been on a mission to learn all I can about food sensitivities. So I am certified to do the mediator release test. It's a food sensitivity test, and it's also a nutrition protocol. So yes.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously dealing with your son and the autism puts you in a unique position in terms of being on the inside out. It's yet one more way that you get it about what people go through here.
Yeah. I have to say, I always tell people my son was diagnosed with autism during my journey because most often my journey into weight loss, I'll say that, because a lot of people come to me and they're like, my dad died or this life-changing event happened, and that's when they gain the weight back, or they fall into that hamster wheel of, overdoing the sugar and the processed carbohydrates. And that's almost the number one reason I see people stop doing what they've been doing as far as healthy things. So, some kind of life-changing event. And I'm proud to say that when Aiden was diagnosed with autism, I actually bumped up my self-care. It's like, okay, this is new, this stinks. I went and saw a counselor. I emotionally dealt with that, and I upped my game. Like, I focused on getting sleep. I focused on my exercise. I focused on eating better. And I did see a counselor because it was a very big adjustment. So you have to increase your self-care when you're going through something tough, not back off of it and fall into the hamster wheel.
Absolutely. That is such a key point. I'm so glad you brought that up, Marian, because I 100% agree with you. When things get difficult, you need more support, not falling back into the old stuff that doesn't really help you. Yes, it numbs up the feelings at a huge cost. Yeah. So talk a little bit about, since you've opened your business and since you're stepping more into your kick-ass life, how have things been going?
It's been an incredible journey. I have to say, Bonnie, this is, what do I say? This is tough. This year has been quite a journey. You know, when my kids were, I was done having babies, I turned to God and I said, okay, Heavenly Father, what's next for me? What do you want for me? I know I've had the children that you had meant for me. What do you want next for me? And it came very clear that it was time for me to share what I do with others. It was very clear that this was my next path. And for me, there's a lot of blocks there. I mean, it's a huge financial investment to start a business. I think a lot of people don't realize, you know, they wonder why things cost the way they cost. It is a huge investment to start a business financially. The first 1 to 2 years are not easy for our family. It has been a huge, huge leap of faith. That and getting visible. It's hard as a fitness and nutrition professional to be judged because there's a lot of body shaming out there. That was tough for me, is getting visible. How comfortable was I with people judging my body, judging what I do, judging what I eat? That's a hard piece for my career as well.
Absolutely. And that's a good point I want to make also, because how many people out there are holding themselves back because of something like that? I can't be more visible. I can't start a business. I can't connect with people until I lose 40 pounds, can wear a size whatever. They put all these requirements on it. I remember running a group at one point, and there was and I hate this term, morbidly obese. What a crappy term, right?
Yeah,
so there was
agree.
This woman, and she said, I said, what do you love to do that you haven't let yourself do because of your current weight? And she said, well, I love swimming. And she said, but I can't find a swimsuit big enough. And I rifled through my stuff and I pulled out a name and I handed it to her and I said, this is a seamstress who makes swimsuits for anyone, any size. End of that excuse. Let's support you. Let's get this done. And she did it. She did it. She went and she had a swimsuit made just for her. And she went to the YWCA and joined a water aerobics class. And she said, there's women there who look just like me. And I said, absolutely. Absolutely. Just keep going. Just do it.
I love that, Body. You just made my day with that. I love those stories. And it's so funny because I didn't do track in high school because of the short shorts. I was too self-conscious about my thighs. Of course, I was depressed. I had an eating disorder. I wasn't in a healthy mindset then. And that held me back from doing cross country. I actually was a good sprinter. I was a very good sprinter, and I didn't pursue it until later in life because nothing is going to hold me back now.
Absolutely. Right. And you've got all those pictures of you on your website or on your Facebook page of you doing.
That's great.
Yes. So, and I love that you've got the pictures on your Facebook page so people can see, here's what you're doing now. I was telling them in the intro about you planking all 4 of your boys. That was awesome. And all of the pictures of you running, doing races. That's inspirational stuff.
It is. It is. I'm feeling really healthy, really good, and pretty confident, and that's very exciting because it's a place I never was. It took me years to get here. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Yes. Yes, and now you're paying it forward and helping others do the same.
Yes, because that's what I'm designed to do. That is my next path. You know, I've had my babies, and I really feel like this is the journey the Lord has set for me.
Wonderful. Awesome. Awesome. So can you talk about what was your biggest barrier, or what was the biggest resistance you ran into in the course of losing all of that weight? Where did you hit some walls?
Okay, well, of course, when Aiden was diagnosed with autism, that was really, really rough. You know, we went through a lot of stuff. Even though we overcame 2008, we were still going through some pretty rough stuff related to 2008 and the crash of the economy. Um, Aiden,
Yep.
again, you know, something significant has happened in my marriage every single year, and I've been married 11 years, and something big has happened. Last year, my dad had open heart surgery and a heart attack while he was driving a 20-ton truck. So, you know, we
Ooh.
all have ebbs and flows in our life, and that's another reason why it's so important to have some kind of accountability, because you know your life happens. There's always going to be ebbs in your life. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, but they can really derail you. So yeah, a lot of personal stuff throughout those years. My husband had a major medical scare. He almost died. Yeah, lots of crazy stuff. Like I said, every single year we've had a life-changing event happen, and I continued the course. After 2009, I was done. This was now my new life. You know, I was done being depressed. I was done trying to figure it out. From now on, I was just going to live with purpose and live my self-care program.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm getting an image in my mind. One of the dance classes that I used to take, we did ball work, those big balls, and we'd be laying on our bellies with our arms out and our legs out, and she would kick the ball, and we would have to try to balance and keep from falling off the
Yes.
ball. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what you were doing with your life. You're planked out on the ball, and life is kicking you once a year or more, and you're trying to keep the
Yeah.
balance.
Right, right. And succeeding at it. And succeeding at it.
Yes, you've
But
been
good
able to do
analogy.
it.
Yes.
You've been
Yes,
able to do it.
absolutely.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
it is.
All right.
Yeah.
So, anything else you can think of that you would like to share with our audience? Takeaway for the day, something that you want them to remember?
You know, I really think it's possible to overcome anything. It truly is. It's all about mindset. It's all about attitude. You can do anything that you want to do. And I truly mean anything. It really is possible. And it really starts with change. And then it goes with action, you know, that desire to change and then taking that action.
Yep. And I'm going to throw in my 2 cents worth on that, and lining up your accountability. You need the people who are going to hold you lovingly to what you say you're going to do. I just think that's so huge. And it sounds like that's exactly what you do for your clients. So if someone were
Yeah.
interested in working with you, getting more information, how would they go about connecting with you?
So the Fit Dietitian is my business page. You can always message me there. McCormickMarian at yahoo.com is a great way to reach out. You can always do 1 week of personal training for free, and there's always a 10-minute free consult. So be sure to email me, reach out and ask questions. You're always welcome to try a week of personal training for free. Everything is done online. Again, I designed this program exactly how I found the success for my own journey. So it really is an accountability, a wellness group. The workouts are 20 or 30 minutes, so very short, very effective, and a great online community. So lots of
Awesome.
accountability and
Wonderful.
motivation. Yeah.
And what I'd recommend also is, once we're done with this video and I've posted it, if you can go in the feed below and put in your contact information, that might be an easy way for people to get in touch with you. Well, thank you so
Great.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for being willing to be an interviewee, and I'm looking forward to seeing how many people have comments. Please put comments in the feed here, and either I or Marian will answer. So remember, we're all capable of far more than we think we are. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's Kick-Ass Coach, and you guys go out and conquer your day. Bye.
Thank you, Bonnie. Bye.